to change lives. To connect new ideas. To explore new grounds. With the future in sight. Together.
Energi
selalu ada dimanapun itu,
membawa yang baik menjadi hebat.
karena tidak ada lagi batas.
Kemanapun lintasan masa membawa, hingga ke masa depan.
Sejauh mana kamu bisa bermimpi?
Jawabannya, sejauh yang hati kamu inginkan.
Dengan energi yang menggerakkan kamu
Dan kamu. Pertamina, energizing you.
Iklan pop mie, stuck gitu-gitu aja.
Pop mie, ransel, pop mie.
Biar seru nggak terputus, pop mie dus. Topping cangki sama gurihnya itu sob. Beuh. Yuk sob, sikat pop mie. Seru terus kuy.
Hydro Coco. Why choose Hydro Coco? Healthy, taste good. Rasakan manfaat air kelapa asli untuk bantu jaga imun tubuh.
We choose Hydro Coco.
Real coconut water. Hydro Coco. Why choose Hydro Coco? Healthy, taste good. Rasakan manfaat air kelapa asli untuk bantu jaga imun tubuh.
We choose Hydro Coco.
Real coconut water.
go.
Do it! Welcome to Mobile Legends!
Kok jadi stuck gini sih? Padahal udah mau end loh. Aduh.
Ada sebuah cerita tentang mereka yang bangkit dari keterpurukan, melawan keterbatasan, merajut karya untuk berdaya bersama, membuka jalan kemudahan dan rasa percaya akan masa depan. Di tengah tantangan, mereka suarakan harapan, bergerak untuk perubahan. IndiHome, aktivitas tanpa batas.
Selamat datang di sebuah pengalaman perjalanan baru Indonesia bersama InJourney. Terbang bersama kami untuk melihat pariwisata Indonesia. Sirkuit internasional, bentang alam, ragam atraksi budaya, produk lokal asli Indonesia, warisan budaya, keamanan dan kenyamanan. InJourney membawa kerambahan Indonesia ke dunia.
Indonesia's Next Top Model Cycle 3, Sabtu dan Minggu, jam 7 malam.
Yeah! Are you guys ready?
Woohoo!
Right.
They're already here because this is the lower bracket final for MLBB, Mobile Legends Bang Bang.
Exactly. So we, both of us, will accompany you guys. My name is Darius Drew.
And also Clara Monster in IESF 14
World Esports Championship Bali 2022.
Yeah, this is so special because we already saw the winner for Dota 2, which is Indonesia. But right now, in Mobile Legends Bang Bang, we have already reached the lower bracket final.
Exactly. So it's between Team Cambodia or Team Philippines who will go to the next stage or the grand finals against Indonesia.
Tomorrow. But right now in Best of 3 series, they will fight their best to get that slot because only one slot for both of the teams.
Exactly. Well, I heard that both of the team have met Indonesia.
Yes.
Yeah, and now they need to find a way to able to win and do their revenge maybe in the next grand final.
That's right. But of course, you're on the Earth stage with us. But not only on the Earth stage, we have another stages as well. We have ice, fire, and air.
Exactly, which they already have their own battle, their own games. Like we have 6 games, right? We have Dota 2, and we already finished the Dota 2. We have CSGO, And also we have CSGO Female.
That's right.
And then we still have eFootball 2023.
Tekken 7.
And also Mobile Legends Bang Bang.
Yeah. And of course, if you are near Bali, please join us in Merusaka, Bali. And not forgetting for the online fans over here, online community that is watching us. Hello everyone, you can watch us on our platforms.
Exactly. We have Twitch at IESF_TV6.
We have on YouTube
at PBSI or PBSI.
And another YouTube at garudaku.esi.
Exactly. So please join us. Please, if you are on home and watching us online, please share your stream line to your friends, to your neighbor, or maybe to your parents. Anyone, please share it. Because we will have a very great lower bracket final today.
Of course, because they will fight the best. And of course, it's gonna be a super intense match.
Exactly.
They both fought really great and they have their gameplay differently.
Exactly. So, let's invite both of the team. From the first one who will have their lower battle final today. Please welcome Team Cambodia!
Please give round of applause for Team Cambodia with Boom, Opi, Lutu, Deja, and Team.
Once again, everybody, Team Cambodia! They seem so excited, yeah?
Of
to
course.
have their lower battle match today.
Team Cambodia united as one.
Wow.
This is their first time meeting Team
Alright.
Philippines.
Thank you, Team Cambodia. You guys may enter your battle station. Maybe this is the first time they enter their battle
Oh, that's
station. Yeah,
right.
because-
This is the first time for MLBB on the third stage.
Exactly. And so we will invite the contender, the next team. Please welcome Team Philippines!
Make some noise for Team Philippines with Villa Luna, Del Rosario, Debadab, Soriano, and Imam.
Once again, Team Philippines! Wow, seems like they have some fans around here.
That's
to
right.
cheer them up.
Team Philippines, Langkat
Exactly.
Matakan!
Yeah!
This is the spirit of Team Philippines, please.
Thank you so
Go
much, Team
to the
Philippines.
booth and in the
Wow.
third stage, they will battle in best of 3 series. So join us here in our stage. We have Mirko here and we have Al.
Wow,
And also
hi.
Chico. It's not Chico, it's Chico.
It's Chico, Chico.
Yeah, and lots of friends from Philippines. Bobochu as well here.
Bobochu, welcome.
Our friends from
Exactly.
Philippines and also from Cambodia is here.
Wow, so many people gather around Merusaka Nusa Dua Bali to enjoy their IESF 14th World Esports Summit Bali 2022, Clara.
They cannot wait to find out who will be the winner of this lower bracket final.
So do I. And also, we believe everybody here are very curious to see these lower battle games. Exactly. And I
Let's
think
go.
we have 2 our casters up there.
Yeah.
I cannot see them, sorry.
Yeah, they are high in the
Oh, yeah,
in the
upstairs.
air. Okay.
Ah.
Oh wow.
There are our
I
caster.
can see you, Momo-chan, and also Arasi. So
Wow.
let's give it up to our caster for lower bracket final between Cambodia and Philippines. Please
Let's
take it
go.
away.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to
Welcome,
the
welcome.
lower bracket finals. It's your caster speaking. It's your favorite Moshi Moshi pairing. It's Arashi and Momo-chan. Welcome.
Welcome, guys. Finally, we have, an experience in the Earth stage here.
First time.
First time. And so far, it's good.
We are absolutely ready, and we have a very, very intense match. We've seen both these teams play against each other, and not to mention, it's a bit of a rematch here. So we have to see who will come out on top. Is it the consistency of the Philippines, or is it the unpredictability of the Cambodians? But before that, Momo-chan, we need to give a bit of thanks to, of course, the IESF 14th World Championship Bali 2022 is supported by wonderful Indonesia, Kemenpora, NOC, Connie, and of course, a big thanks to all of our sponsors, JHL Group, JHL Auto, Nusa Pay, DAS, Gudang Crypto, Taiwan Excellence, Pertamina, Hydro Coco, Plosa, Sofel, Antis, and of course, Telkomsel, the Samsung Galaxy A Series, Central Cargo, Huawei Cloud, IndiHome, HIN, Episode Hotel, Medusaka Hotel, our amazing venue right here.
Amazing.
Mineski Global, Indonesian Football E-League, ESID, Lemon ID as well.
And thank you for our media partner that support us. Until now, we thank Trans7, Detikcom, Esports.id, Video.com, Dunia Games, Dance TV, Dance Play, Merah Putih, Bola Score, and Kami Bijak. Amazing sponsor and also the media partner that already supporting us since day number 1, Arashi.
It will not be possible without all the support. So again, we extend a very massive appreciation, massive thanks to all the parties involved. But now we're back in it, Momo-chan.
Wow.
Honestly, it's a heated rivalry and there's a lot of supporters for both sides. Of course, the favorites is going to be the Philippines, but everyone loves an underdog story.
That's right, me too. I really love the underdog story here since we know this very, very strong contender coming from Cambodia, right? So it's not easy as well for Philippines. Especially this is the lower bracket match. So we will see one team that has to say goodbye for today.
Ooh, that is the unfortunate reality of the situation. But of course, we're all here for a good time, a great competition. And if you guys missed it, here is the playoffs brackets. As you can see, both teams have gone through so much to get to this point. But right now, we are at the lower bracket finals. There you can see the Cambodians against the Philippines in match number 13. And whoever succeeds today will actually get a ticket to the grand finals tomorrow up against Indonesia.
And the fact is, both of the teams that has to play today, both of them, it's getting shut down by Indonesia, right?
Ooh.
So Indonesia, they're already waiting in the grand final here with 1 point upper hand if you compare to others team. But now Cambodia and Philippines, they have to done their homework for today. And it's gonna be the lower bracket final between Cambodia and Philippines, and it's gonna be a best of 3 series.
It's a best of 3, so a lot of time for these teams, especially these teams who are so quick and so intelligently adapting to the different circumstances. So, they have 2 chances in a way. We'll see if momentum actually favors the Cambodians, or will this be actually a slower game where we can see a lot of adjustments, especially in the games.
Yeah, if you talk about Philippines, maybe we saw a different approach they're coming from Philippines, right? Since the day number 2, they play as the first match of the day. But now, I can see that Philippines, they are, maybe we can say that we see the old Philippines, play very, very aggressive. But if we take a look from Lutu and also the Del Rosario, the jungler from both of the teams, we know how strong they are, right? Especially from Del Rosario, because sometimes he can comes up with a, very unique pick here with the Guinea for jungler and also maybe the Barats.
It is the flexibility that kills you. And he is the king of the jungle for a reason. That is his nickname.
King of the jungle.
But here we take a look at a bit of a head-to-head between T and Villa Luna.
Yes, if you talk about the king, of course, there must be the queen, right? The queen of support here, Villa Luna. And of course, if you compare to T as the mid laner from Cambodia, maybe there's no much differences between between both of them.
It's very close.
Yeah, especially maybe beside the damage dealer coming from Villa Luna is very, very strong, right? But if we talk about Philippines, they always comes up with a very, very many, full hero coming from this team.
A very flexible team.
That's right.
And speaking of the team, the player spotlight here for Soriano, he is actually so good, so consistent. He has 7 kills, death and assists. I believe this is the average. So he has a great performance, and despite the fact that sometimes he doesn't get given a lot of different resources and kills, he's still able to consistently be a big threat in the late game. So despite all the pressure, all the aggression that teams have been putting onto that gold lane, but now we'll take a look at a very quick talent prediction here, and I think everyone's waiting to see who is Momo-chan gonna vote for.
I think if we take a look from the progress of from both of the teams, I'll still go for Philippines, of course. How about you, Rasi?
Well, it's on the screen right here. Both of us going for the Philippines, but as we mentioned, it's no secret that they're a solid team, but
we know how strong Cambodia as well, right?
Exactly.
As the underdog team comes to IESF.
And in the Land of Dawn, anything can happen. It's never over until it's actually over. So don't count Cambodia out. We are still expecting a very, very close match that can get dangerous for our friends from the Philippines.
Agree with that. So it depends on the draft ban and pick here. Especially we know that for the current meta, it's very, very relying on how your gold lane can improve and how your gold lane can farm really well, right? You drag the game until the mid, until the late game. Let your gold lane try to dominate the game here. So actually, there are a lot of factors here.
Definitely. And speaking of the early game, the roams, the aggression, both teams have a very solid understanding of that lane pressure as well. So we have to see what heroes will be picked up, especially the three heroes in the mid lane, right? The mid laner, the jungle, and the roamer. What combination they draft up will determine who has the pressure, the aggression, the upper hand in the mid stage, in the early stage as well.
Agree with that, but yeah, I would like to see how Philippines, I would like to see they play very, very aggressive, since we know in the M series, Philippines is very, very a strong contender, right? And Cambodia, they have to come with another strategy. If you try to against the blacklist, or maybe I can say Philippines here, you have to come with the best strategy. You have to pull out your A card here.
You have to pull out the hidden ace, essentially.
Hidden ace.
Your hidden hand.
Yeah.
But of course, the execution needs to be perfect as well. At this stage of the game, any small mistake will get absolutely punished. It can all begin from something as early as the second minute. And if you are not careful, both Cambodia and the Philippines will grab onto that mistake and carry it all the way to the mid and late game. So that makes the early game much, much more important. And that is where T and Villaluna will try and find a bit of an advantage. Who can enable their team better? And of course, which lane they decide to help out to get an advantage, to get a snowball going on.
Yeah, especially for the gold lane here, right? But look at that, Lakat Matatang from Philippines. But yeah, if we talk about the draft ban and pick here, we know how big and how big the pool here coming from Philippines, right? Villaluna can play as a support, he can play as a tanker as well. So it's quite flexible if you talk about Philippines. But if you talk about Cambodia, we know how strong the 5-man fight here coming from Cambodia. So I'm quite agree with you, RSC. So it depends on how they execute. The execution coming from both of the teams, right?
Flexibility definitely favors the Philippines, especially Del Rosario in the jungle. He is known to play so many different things, forcing out very weird respect bans from their opponents. But from the Cambodians, I think they have a bit of an edge when it comes to those really unpredictable picks. I mean, they were the first team who actually brought out that joy as well. So don't forget, Deja on that joy might be able to just completely take over the game.
I think it's gonna be the auto ban coming from Philippines, right? No Joy, maybe no Beatrix as well for Soriano.
We'll see.
We'll see. Or maybe there's no Estes, right?
A signature hero for Villaluna, for sure.
We've seen once only Arashi in IESF 14.
Right.
For Villaluna.
Definitely not the pattern, definitely the exception, but of course, maybe they've been saving that pick for now. It depends if Cambodia will actually fear it that much to try and ban it out in the banning phase. But that is a lot of pressure there. This current meta is just so flexible. You can find assassins or tanks in the jungle. You can find utility or even kill pressure in the mid lane as well. And I think a big showdown between both these teams is going to be in that EXP lane. It is a very independent lane where you are usually left alone. So there's going to be a lot of dueling from Dapadap as well as Boom.
Wow, we'll see, but we are going to start about the first ban and pick comes from Cambodia and Philippines. There's no Akai, there's no Benedita, there's no Matilda Airlines as well. So from Philippines, they ban out this, of course, Joy, right? You don't want to fight, they just Joy here. So they ban it out. There's no Kaja, there's no 1-1. So it left Valentina open for Cambodia. And it's gonna be the first pick, of course, for Cambodia.
All right, so Valentina very early on, very flexible and aggressive as well. So it does fit the Cambodian strategy. The Philippines, looking at their bans here, they always have a great priority in being neat in those team fights, having a great formation as well. So banning away the Joy is definitely a good option. And if they want to curb that aggression from Cambodia, the Kaja is just way too flexible. And the 1-1 at this point, in both gold laners, Opi or Soriano, it's going to be a very huge problem for anyone who picks it up. So we'll have to see. For the Philippines, it's going to be that Leslie very early on, as well as the signature hero, that Fredrin.
So this Fredrin might goes into the hand of Del Rosario as a jungler. Meanwhile, there's still Martis and also Leomord open for Cambodia.
Oof.
Or might be they want to try to secure
the Beatrix maybe.
The gold lane, yes. Maybe Beatrix could be the option for Cambodia. Since Philippines, they already secured this Leslie, right? So if they don't secure the gold lane right now, I think there's gonna be a chance for Philippines to just ban it out in the second banning phase.
Of course, Cambodia wants to have options here. Opi is one of the main carries they always rely on. So getting him a comfort pick, getting him a strong hero that can carry that mid to late game is critical for their success. But now they pick up the Martis, and straight away it's Melissa. Whoa.
Martis and Melissa very strong in the lane. Especially we know Martis with the immune CC that comes from this guy. It will help the team fight for the Cambodia. Meanwhile, Melissa is very strong with the
go away.
The go away.
With the Inspire as well. There's a big potential for the Melissa to come out massive in the big team fights. But for the Philippines, they are not going to let it slide. They go for the Farsa on Imam, and that is a lot of burst damage from so far away. We are looking at yet another long-range combo. We've seen it with the Farsa and Beatrix, Farsa and Leslie. That's a lot of distance that the Cambodians must try and close before they can even make the fights competitive. And even then, they have to contend on getting to try to go through a Fredrin that can stop that aggression in its tracks.
Okay, Philippines, maybe they can ban out this Yuzong, you know. Just make sure this Farsia can do the Pharaoh air strike freely from behind. So maybe there's no Yuzong. There's no Povius as well. If they want to, they can ban it in the second banning phase here. But for Cambodia, so both of them, they already secure their important lane here, such as gold lane and also the jungler. There's no Yuzong, as I expected. And we'll see. Is it gonna be another hero that can jump into the back line?
Well, banning away dive potential is very good. I mean, Cambodia have banned out the Akai as well, so hinting that they want to be able to just jump on that juicy, squishy backline of the Philippines. So they would try and ban out more protection, like the Diggy, that can also be used to make sure that Soriano gets a lead, gets an advantage in that gold lane. So already trying to make sure that they can have full control. But of course, other heroes are still left unbanned. And as you mentioned, Momo-chan, that Estes is still something that is in the back of the minds of everyone watching right now.
But I think there's no Estes for the first game. I just thought maybe Ruby from Villa Luna could be the option for the first game.
Well, Ruby has a lot of crowd control, and it can be used very aggressively as well, depending on the situation. So for the Philippines, that could be an option, unless they actually want to go for a bit of a counter-engage themselves. We know that the Philippines have been known to actually take the aggression into their own hands, depending on the situation. They ban out the Natalia.
It's interesting. They ban out this Natalia. They want to make sure there's no one from Cambodia can touch this Farsia. No one from Cambodia can touch Imam in the backline here. So they want to make sure that the team fight for Philippines will go very well with the Pharaoh air strike, but there's no Lolita respect from Cambodia in the hand of Villa Luna.
Villa Luna is very adept at using that Lolita, being able to use it aggressively as well as defensively. And in this particular context, using it as counter-engage will be very difficult for Cambodia to deal with. So they ban it out. But the question is, for Cambodia themselves, what will they use as an engage tool? Because all the aggression, all the burst damage is nice, it's convenient, but they need to be able to catch the members of the Philippines before they can even make anything happen.
We'll see. It's gonna be Ruby as the option for Philippines. Or maybe it's gonna be another roamer such as Atlas. That's gonna be Lapu-Lapu for the Padap.
The Padap on the Lapu-Lapu, we've seen him pull off crazy 1v2s, 1v3s even. And as we talked about engaging, right? The Philippines now have a very flexible engage tool they can use defensively or aggressively. If OP from Cambodia miss positions, then Dapadap can actually just jump on him and just lock him down. But on the other side, for the Cambodians, they pick up that Masha. They can dive into the backline and can also be a big threat, a big problem in that macro gameplay, split pushing.
It could be the split push potential that coming from Cambodia. So Philippines, I think with this composition they need someone. Oh no, but the Ruby goes into the hand of Cambodia.
So they pick it up, they take it away from the hands of the Philippines. And by the way, this Masha pick is just so good because with so much HP, that is a natural counter to the true damage that Soriano will have in that late game. So for the Philippines right now, the final pick, most likely the roamer, they require some kind of assistance here because otherwise it's looking very dangerous for the Philippines, especially for their back line.
Okay, it's quite interesting because Baxia could be the option, but we know that Filaluna never used this Baxia, right?
Right, a bit.
Except the Baxia goes into the jungler, but they already had it since Fredrin has been picked up. So it's gonna be the last pick coming from Philippines. There you go.
Here we go.
It's Mom's Estes. Let's go.
Estes, yes.
But I can say Cambodia's pick is very strong.
They have a lot of pressure in the early game for sure, and later on, we'll have to see if they have enough damage to actually burst through the blessing of the Moon Goddess here. Their main damage dealer is going to be the Melissa, so attempting to go for pickoffs doesn't really seem realistic for the Cambodians, only in the late game though. In the early game, with a Valentina and a Martis, that is a lot of early game power that the Cambodians can play around with.
Agree. So if Cambodia can try to snowball in the early minutes, I think it's gonna be in the advantage for Cambodia. But if Philippines they can drag this game into the mid until the late game, it could be anyone's game.
Of course, I mean that late game is where it's also volatile. It's not only about the objectives, it's also about playing around with the vision control, with the waves, with the death timers as well. Everything is in consideration, but ladies and gentlemen, let's get into game number 1, back in the Land of Dawn for the lower bracket finals between Cambodia and the Philippines. Let's get into it.
Let's go. If you have Estes in your team, it means that you can have a longer team fight here, right? So Philippines, they has this potential, but the thing is they have to make sure no one can touch Filaluna and also Soriano from behind.
They need to play around the mid lane for sure. The Farstar is very strong in the early game, but that's about the only early power hero they can use to make plays around. Now a fight breaks out in the Little Wanderer, but the Philippines will back away. They understand that they require a bit of time before they can match the team fight, the skirmish from the side of Cambodia.
They have to play it really slow from Philippines here. Make sure they don't give a chance for Cambodia to just snowballing in the first game, the early game. And Soriano really need to make his time to get all of the item that he needs.
It is a late game hero for sure. We've seen Soriano actually perform really well in the early game, winning out trades against unfavorable matchups. But right now against Cambodia, that might be a bit too dangerous as T is waiting in the sidelines as both teams, they're really just playing it out passively.
And now, Filaluna trying to make the rotation going into the bottom lane here. OP got a lot of burst damage coming from Soriano here. Meanwhile, Imam trying to stun it, and the stun connect.
That's some follow-up there, but OP is able to escape, but the flicker comes in. That's the first blood for Soriano, and T is in the area, but he will not be able to do anything as the turtle actually spawns right here, and the Filipinos have a bit of pressure advantage, but they are outnumbered on the top side.
Meanwhile, it's gonna be a turtle objective that will be knocked by both of the teams. And it seems that Cambodia, they want to try to contest it. T trying to find someone there, trying to use that I'm offended in the hand of T, but he hasn't level 4 yet. And there's gonna be a Lutu who's gonna get that first turtle objective here.
First turtle secured on that Marcus pick. On the bottom side though, Imam with a better airstrike. Bye-bye. OP gets taken out. And we've talked about this. Cambodia really likes relying on OP for damage in the mid game. If he gets picked off like this again and again, it's going to be very difficult for them to match the Philippines once that 6 or 7 minute comes up.
So it's going to be a trade coming from Cambodia with the one turtle objective coming from Cambodia. Meanwhile, there's no an early aggression coming from Cambodia like we discussed it earlier, right, Arashi? It's more into the Philippines. They are making this rotation. So they want to make sure that actually Cambodia, they don't have an early aggression with the draft that they have.
They're avoiding problems in the in those neutral objectives where Cambodia have an edge. So the Filipinos, they're just waiting for their power spikes. And once they do feel like they have a chance here, they're going to try and go for those big fights, those big pickups. They do have a bit of crowd control advantage. We'll have to see what happens in the XP lane. Though, Soriano gets taken out. He gets pulled back, but no, he's actually able to survive, and he is sustained by the blessing of the Moon Goddess as the Philippines, they're coming back in. They're trying to get something in exchange here as Deja gets taken very, very low, but it will still be both teams not losing a single member.
There was very a good combo coming from Flicker and also the arm offended from T. Now Philippines, they have to make sure the rotation coming from Cambodia, they have to make sure that Villa Luna can do the same thing as well. So they have to make sure there's no engagement coming from Cambodia into the gold lane.
Imam is still sustained up. Better airstrike is being used, but in this early game, not enough damage. But you can see the Cambodians, they're trying their best to make plays happen. They need to, because if they just cruise into the mid game, that is where the Philippines actually have a bit of an advantage as Dabadab goes in. He is 1v2 right now. Deja comes in to get involved as well, but he is sustained so well until Boom comes in the back line, zoning away everyone else as the Paddock gets pushed away. Everyone is still very healthy due to the blessing of the Moon Goddess, and Del Rosario goes back in. Unfortunately, they are unable to get anyone, but they get control in the turtle pit. They will get the second turtle.
Okay, now Villa Luna is going to be a problem. It's gonna be a problem for Cambodia. They have to find a way how to reach Villa Luna in the back line. It means they have to use the surprise initiation coming from T with the Flicker and also the I'm offended, right? But meanwhile, Philippines, until minutes number 5, they are keep giving a pressures in the early game. So they want to snowballing, okay? They want to make sure that Soriano get a lot of space, get a lot of items, get a lot of gold for the team fight in the mid until the late game.
These two gold laners are a bit different because OP definitely has more teamfight presence on the Melissa, but Soriano, given the right circumstances and the right follow-up, he can absolutely just burst someone down, and the pick-off gameplay becomes the main problem for Cambodia later on. But of course, with the pick-off potential, with the split push they have in the hands of Boom, maybe that's their solution to try and avoid those circumstances.
And now, Imam looking for another feather as it comes in, and OP, who's gonna be the first target that's been taken down in the bottom lane.
He gets taken out, and the turret will follow soon as well. Del Rosario picks it up, and he gets very, very low. As Del Rosario goes in, he is 1v3 under the turret. He is terrified, he might just get taken out, but no! Blessing of the Moon Goddess will save his life, and the Philippines get another very solid advantage in that bottom side.
Wow, there's really a good backup coming from Villa Luna, and right now, Boom, it's gonna be another ultimate snipe that comes from Soriano. Orashi, what will Cambodia do?
This is not good, man. They got OP essentially shut down 0-3, and now Boom, the other side of the map that Cambodia has been putting resources towards, actually isn't doing that well either. Now it becomes the mid lane contest, but the Filipinos are grouping S4. They might just go for play here. Beer's Fighter being used by Dapadap, and T will be very, very low. He will get taken out by Soriano. Lutu is very low as well. OP comes in to zone everyone away, but look at the burst damage and look at the range advantage that the Filipinos can use in these fights.
It's so hard for Cambodia because they don't have any chance. They don't have any chance how to dive into the backline, trying to shut down Imam or maybe Villa Luna in the first place, right? So if you want to target Del Rosario, I think it's kind of a little bit useless here for Cambodia, right?
Yeah, because he is essentially a frontline member as well. Imam has the Purify, so jumping on him won't be that useful, but jumping on Villa Luna without the Purify still means that they won't be focusing Soriano as well as Imam. So a lot of problems for the Cambodians and no real solution in sight. Right now, they're sitting the top side as Boom waits for a bit of an opportunity, just waiting for a chance to do something, but it won't even be given to him. As on the other side, though, we do see that the Cambodians, they might be up to something. They're gonna wait in the bush right here, but they'll be zoned away by the spells being thrown into the bushes as the Feather Airstrike gets used just to zone them away again, asserting dominance by Imam.
I just feel that Cambodia, they are very, it's hard for them actually. It's hard for them to find a way how to go into the back line of Philippines here. Meanwhile, I think they have to make some split push strategy here if they want to at least make some distraction towards Philippines. But I think Philippines, they want to force a team fight into the bottom lane right now, Archie.
OP very, very low, but the go away will save his life for just a bit. But the Feather Airstrike comes in for the snipe as Soriano does 1,000 true damage. And right here, Lutu's trying to escape with his life. There's a lot of utility available for the Philippines, though. He has chunked down lower and lower, and he is finally taken out, despite Deja stealing the blessing of the Moon Goddess. It won't be enough as the Philippines take control over the orange side jungle.
I can say it's quite dominant coming from Philippines right now, right? Because with the 5k gold differences for Philippines, it makes Cambodia, they are losing in every lane right now. And there's gonna be another engage coming from Philippines.
That's just a turret taken by the Philippines, and they go for the purple buff as well. Lutu is not having a good time at all. Right here, T looks for a play, gets Imam, but will that be enough? He's chucked very, very low. Fada goes in with the Brave Spider, and that will be T taken out. It's always just a solid one-person pick, and now with an advantage, they go for the Lord.
It's gonna be the first Lord for Philippines. Meanwhile, Cambodia, they don't wanna take a chance. They don't wanna take a chance to just try to contest this Lord. Even though it's just the first Lord, they're still able to defend their base. The problem is, the Philippines is just way too dominating their game.
They're just so solid right here. We saw that Cambodia, they tried to go for an exchange on the bottom side, but most of the jungle camps have just been cleared, and they aren't able to get the turret in the bottom side as well. So the Philippines get a solid free Lord, and now we have to look at the wave management. How will the Philippines use this Lord to get maximum value?
We'll see, because there are like 4 turrets in the hand of Philippines, and right now Cambodia, they have to defend their own lane. OP, I think still needs some time to get the item here. But meanwhile, Soriano, he will take. There's someone that's hiding inside the bush here. Meanwhile, OP will try to wait for an initiator coming from T here with the I'm offended. Or maybe from Boom, right? That comes from the blind spot here, trying to surprise a Philippines team here. But I think it's not gonna happen because Philippines, they are trying to grouping as a 5-man. They want to give a pressure in their lane.
They're just grouping as 5 and sieging down these turrets one by one because they have that range advantage. If any member from Cambodia missteps, that is them getting chunked down by the Feather Airstrike and maybe taken out as well by the snipe here. Lutu moves forward aggressively. He is chunked down to half HP almost instantly. And Boom will try and zone members away so that the Cambodians can survive, can save their turret. They will succeed for now, but the Philippines, they're just going back to the same formation, taking away all the jungle camps and then managing the lanes as well for maximum pressure.
They want to play discipline from Philippines. They don't want to make a mistake. They don't want to make a minor mistake here. They want to wait for Cambodia to just get out from base here, trying to see if there's gonna be an engagement coming from T.
Ooh, Feather Airstrike being used though. Boom is able to actually stop that aggression and tries to make a play happen, but the Philippines, they're just calm and composed. They have all the tools available to ensure the security of their back line. They will be able to just back away and wait for the next wave, and Cambodia needs to be the one that makes something happen. If they just wait for it, they're just waiting for Imam to get a pick off for Soriano. He just chunked down members just like that. Tai gets very, very low, and Del Rosario comes in. Fat Up goes in with the Brave Spider as well. The turret shall fall, but wait a minute. The Fat Up goes a bit too aggressive, gets taken out, but the Philippines strike back. Lutu, very, very low. Tai as well. That'll be first kill, getting picked up by Soriano. And OP is nowhere to be seen, 0 and 5.
And now they are trying to keep pushing, going into the base of Cambodia. But with 1-for-1 trade, I think Philippines, they will wait for the next Lord that will come in the 50 seconds ahead.
Yeah, she's still zoning away with the Feather Airstrike. Deja gets taken very low, but the ammo is being used. Imam, very, very low, gets taken out by Boom. And that will be the Filipinos still taking the bottom turret. It's on the minion here. One more hit, it's all it takes. and the Cambodians are able to actually save it. It doesn't look like much, but it's a massive victory for the lane pressure game coming in. But the Filipinos have pressure on this Lord, unless the Cambodians want to contest them for it, knowing that Imam is not on the map.
I think this is the chance for Cambodia. If they want to turn back the table, they have to make something happen right now, because it's 4 versus 5 team fight here, and there's come with the Deja. The Hall healing coming from Deja here. They try to stop all the Philippines come, but the Rosario with the very good retribution comes in, and Philippines, they are trying to force the team fight here.
They go for Lutu as well. That's a double kill for Soriano, and with 2 members down, the Cambodians back away, and on top of that, we did see that the Lord was secured as well, so that's a disaster for the side of Cambodia. With 2 members down, Deja is trying to clear the waves as soon as possible, but the Philippines, they're just stalking their prey, waiting for the right chance to actually end the game. They are going to be waiting for the waves though, not willing to risk one of their members getting picked off like earlier.
Yeah, because T can do everything with that flicker combo with the I'm offended here. But I think Philippines, they are very aware with that. Look at the one shot damage coming from Soriano. Meanwhile, the Lord is coming in, trying to push into the base.
I'm offended being used though by T. That's 2 members down. Shotgun being picked up by Deja, but it immediately turned back, and we can see that Lutu tries his best, and actually the Cambodians are able to take out 3 members from the Philippines, but it's not over yet. Deja is able to survive with a sliver of HP, and the Filipinos are repelled from the base.
They are able to defend their base. Cambodia, they still have the hope here in the game number 1, and Philippines with only 1 chance from Cambodia. Now Cambodia, they are melting down all of the members from Philippines. Let's take a look from the replay. It's really a good I'm offended and combo with the flicker that's coming from T. The Philippines didn't expect it actually, because they are still waiting for the Lord, trying to giving up pressure, going inside the base of Cambodia.
And you can see Cambodia wasting no time at all, using the momentum to try and take down structures. The goal difference is now only 6K, about 5K actually, and the Filipinos are trying to reassert their dominance. They cannot get caught in that kind of combo, because there we saw that Villaluna was actually able to use the Blessing of the Moon Goddess as well, but it just wasn't enough. There's just way too much damage when everyone is clumped up like that.
This must be a chance, right, for Cambodia to make it happen again. Maybe the second chance for Cambodia, but they have to execute it very perfect here. Meanwhile, the Philippines, now they have to respect with the engagement can come from a T with the I'm offended here. So there's still like 50-50 situation here. There's still a 50-50 game for all of the teams, for both of the teams in the game number 1. And the next Lord is gonna be an important Lord for both of the teams here.
In the long drawn-out team fights, it definitely favors the Cambodians for sure. Having that Melissa hitting everyone at the same time will mean quite a big difference in the DPS department. But now we have a bit of a pause here, and man, finally some break from the action, because this match, it does seem like at any moment the tides can swing from either team.
It's quite scary actually for Philippines, because Cambodia, they still have a chance like we mentioned it earlier, right? With the I'm offended and also the flicker combo coming from T, it can make a turn back table for Cambodia. Meanwhile, Philippines, they have to make sure this Villaluna won't get caught.
I mean, remember that Deja is still on a Valentina. You don't really see, it's not really as flashy as Imam on the Feathered Airstrike, on the Farsa. But that Valentina does a lot of damage. And when everyone's clumped down like that, that is very easy damage being used from the side of Deja. And we know that this man, given the right resources, given gold and EXP, can absolutely carry the game.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because if you talk about the gold lane here, going into the mid and to the late games can be anyone's game, right? So it depends on the execution, especially for the Cambodia. Now, they still have their chance, even though they don't have the best turrets, because from the Philippines, they already secure at least 2 turrets in the middle and also in the top. But the problem is, for the big team fight, as I mentioned it earlier, Cambodia, they always have a chance to make at least a 5-man team fight here with Philippines.
Depends if the Philippines let the Cambodians go for those engages. But now that they've seen it once, or you can see it almost twice from an earlier team fight, they're going to be a lot more careful with their positioning. And now with the Lord spawning in 4 seconds, they have control and they are waiting in the mid lane. Someone might just fall into an ambush as the Magic Sentry is being used by the Cambodians, but it won't really tell them that much. That mid-push seems to be the main tool that the Filipinos are using right here. And Lutu, with his crowd control immunity, is trying to scout for a bit of intel. As he already sneaking on the sidelines, trying to make an engage happen, but the pad up will actually spot him out. And that will be the Lord getting taken to about half HP. And you can see that the pressure from the rest of the map is forcing the Cambodians to move differently.
Yeah, with the line management advantage coming from Philippines, they keeping the defense here, and look at that. The pressure pressure come in from depth head up. Lutu is being pushed away by a member of Philippines, and there's my video aspect. The Del Rosario finally secure the third Lord here.
Boom goes in for a play here, but the blessing of the Moon Goddess is being used. Cambodia want to go for some more. They used the conceal earlier, but it won't be enough. They don't have the engage required. The pad up goes in, and Lutu tries to commit for this, but Soriano with the kite does a lot of damage, and that's true damage bursting down T, and he gets taken out yet again. That is 2 members down for 35 more seconds as the Filipinos, they are using this Lord. They are looking for the end here as Deja gets boosted down with the long-range combo, the snipe and the better airstrike. That's going to be the Filipinos going for the end, and they take game number 1 from Cambodia.
Game number 1 for Philippines. Very dominating, but almost though for Cambodia. That is a best of 3 series. Philippines secured game number 1. Meanwhile, Cambodia, they have to find a way how to turn back the table in the game number 2.
It's difficult, man. You let the Filipinos go for that long-range strategy. You need something very good to try and catch those members. The Ruby, as we can see, can set up for combos, but unless the Filipinos group together, it won't be enough. They require something more dynamic if they want to get an advantage in the early game.
It's unfortunately because they have a very, very good, I can say maybe the draft pick here, right? Coming from Cambodia. They have the early damage coming from this Martis. They have the early damage as well from the Terrified coming from Valentina. But the problem is they just cannot execute it very well in the first game. Maybe they are trying to, trying to find a way how to do it properly in the game number 2 later.
Well, there's also the fact that the Filipinos, they are so smart in maneuvering. They know that usually the first turtle is the first neutral objective that both teams will try and contest, and that is where they intend to go for those fights. But the Filipinos, they just actually maneuver around that and go for OP instead.
Agree with that. But for you guys, maybe they are looking for very good smartphone. Maybe you have some recommendation, Arashi.
Oh, well, the Samsung Galaxy A series is always a solid option. 8 gigabytes of RAM, 258 gigabytes of storage space, 120 refresh rates. If you want to make those flashy plays the same way the Filipinos and the Cambodians were able to do earlier, look no further, man. The phones are solid.
They also have the cashback and also the discount. So make sure you guys check the website for the Samsung.com to get very amazing price for this phone.
Because awesome is for everyone.
That's right. Awesome is for you, Arashi, and for me as well, and for everyone that are still watching the IESF 14 World Esports in Bali 2022, right? So make sure you guys don't miss it, because even though the game number 1 looking very dominant for Philippines, Cambodia, they still have a chance to turn back the table in the game number 2. But the problem is, even though they come with a good draft pick here, but the problem is, how about the execution, right?
Exactly. I mean, drafting is definitely a big part of these games, but afterwards, how you can make, let's say, a losing draft actually work against a winning draft, that is where the execution becomes very important. And knowing your power spikes, knowing the matchup between 2 very diverse compositions, that is where the intelligence, the experience of these teams are absolutely tested to the limit.
Agree with that, because unfortunately, Cambodia, they have very big chance in the game number 1 just now. But the problem is, they cannot find a way how to dive into the backline here, since Yuzong is already being banned out by Philippines, right? Even though there's still a obvious chance to be picked by Cambodia, but maybe they have a better strategy in the game number 1 just now. And yes, unfortunately, they cannot make it happen in the game number 1. But we will see another execution that will come from Cambodia in the game number 2.
I wonder if they're going to go for something different in the gold lane, because OP can do a lot of damage, can carry those team fights in the Melissa, but early on, it's just so brutal, especially knowing that Imam is just roaming back to the gold lane again and again. He has a crosshair on his back, he has a target on his back for sure, because he is the main carry. So maybe something with a bit more outplay potential, something with a bit more security could be good, or if you can't do that, maybe send someone to try and help him out in the lane because he will require that kind of safety, that kind of security from his team.
Yeah, agree with that. Maybe we will see in the game number 2, RSC. Meanwhile, let's take a look for the highlight game number 1 as Soriano become the match MVP for the game number 1. The aggression, they coming from Philippines, it makes Philippines actually they can get the line management here. They secure the first turret in the bottom lane, then they go for the next one in the top lane. It makes actually Philippines, they are dominating mostly in the early minute until minute number 8. After that, T, with the arm offended that comes from T, it's still giving a chance actually, still giving a hope for the Cambodia to turning back the table. But after the third Lord is already being secured by Philippines, they seems lost. They really don't have any option. They don't have much option here for Cambodia, right? Especially with the retribution coming from Del Rosario. It just seems that this game is really a playground for Philippines.
Well, if you look at the composition as well, the Cambodians are supposed to go for pickoffs for early game aggression. When they are fighting for the Lord in those jungles, it's very difficult. They require everyone to just pump up. And perhaps you do find moments like this where T is able to land the cloud control on multiple members. But realistically speaking, right, after it happened once, there's no way the Filipinos are going to repeat the same kind of mistake. You cannot expect that to be the case. And slowly but surely here, we see that same pattern. The Filipinos are able to manage distance and ensure that they can hit but not get hit. And that is the intelligent playstyle we've been talking about.
The discipline that comes from Philippines, right? It makes they can secure the game number 1. Meanwhile, the Cambodia, they have to find the correct answer. They have to find the way how to stop Philippines, not to secure the game number 2. But as we take a look for the itemization that we can see from both of the teams with the 53k gold gap from Philippines, if you compare to Cambodia, it's just too much. It's very a huge gap coming from Philippines here. Meanwhile, Imam, he secured that Clock of Destiny and also the Lightning Truncheon. We know the combination between these two teams, these two items, right? It can give you a really huge burst damage coming from the Spartia, and also the pad up with the Del Rosario with the most defensive item.
Well, having a solid front line is what allows Imam to actually do so much damage in the back line. As you can see earlier with the Divine Glaive as well, your magical defense just gets penetrated just like that. If you look at the damage dealt and damage taken, it really isn't too far off, per se, in the grand scheme of things. But the Philippines are able to get the right amount of damage at the right time onto the right targets because they have that range advantage. For Cambodia, a lot of that damage comes into Del Rosario as well as into the pad up. And that is just not the way to go. All 4 titles here, all 4 categories being taken by the Philippines. And the match MVP, Momo-chan, is going to be Soriano on the Leslie.
Yes, only one that just because of the good arm offended coming from T, right? It makes all the Philippines actually, they have totally respect with the Ruby in the hand of T. But after that, with the 9 kills coming from Soriano, the domination coming from this Leslie, it makes all of the members from Cambodia melted down.
The true damage. We saw that Boom was on that Masha as well, but in that late game, when each shot just takes out 2,000 HP, it's still only a matter of time because even if you can survive the damage coming in from Soriano, everyone else can't really, you can see that the front line from the Philippines just stops any aggression happening. So it's a matter of deciding who has more DPS, who can actually melt on the front lines faster. And in this game, considering that the Philippines will pull the trigger first, it does seem like they have an advantage in that department for sure.
Yeah, with the Wind Talker, with the Berserker for the critical chance here, it makes all the passive from Leslie. The true damage is very insane, right? We've seen the damage. Only one shot towards OP. It makes all the Cambodia, they cannot do much in the game number 2, but in the game number 1. But we will see what will happen in the game number 2 from Cambodia. They have to make sure at least there's one guy that can jump and dive into the backline just to make sure that Imam is gonna be the prior target here for Cambodia, or maybe the Filaluna.
But Imam is known as the KDA machine, so not only taking out members from the opponents, he is also very smart in preserving his own life.
The positioning is very...
The positioning, first of all, but then the Purify he brought in game number 1. And on top of that, it's not enough. He went for a Winter Truncheon as well. So he knows that people are going to be targeting him. And if Cambodia, they just blindly go in without maybe calculating the cooldown for his Purify or his items, right? It might be a bit of a bait, and the Filipinos will definitely punish that kind of mistake.
Yeah, I really like the respect that come from Imam, right? The Purify and also the Winter Truncheon here. He wants to make sure that no one from Cambodia can touch him easily.
Well, if they want to, it's going to be very, very difficult. And it's not about just getting to him. It's actually at what cost? Because if you're able to get onto Imam but lose 2 members in the process, you might as well not go for it, right? So making your opponents make those very difficult choices is something that the Filipinos are so good at doing. And now in game number 2, the Cambodians will have a chance to adapt to maybe go for an assassin perhaps, Momo-chan, because you're talking about the backline being way too free, maybe a better dive, a better engage, or like I said, an assassin might be an option they can go for.
And it's very interesting because we didn't see Beatrix in the hand of OP, right? We know this is the signature hero for OP. Maybe we will see in the game number 2.
I think it was banned, maybe.
It was banned maybe in the second baiting phase?
I'm not quite sure right now, but of course, OP can use it, but so can the pad up.
Yeah.
So that is not something you want to let go lightly, man. We've seen this man on that Beatrix, on that Benedetta, is just way too flexible, way too much damage, and so slippery to catch in those massive team fights.
I just see a different approach coming from Cambodia. I want to see, an aggressive movement that come from Cambodia. Especially when they met Malaysia, right, that time. 2-for-1 game for Cambodia, and I want to see it in the game number 2. Maybe they are trying to make some adjustment in the game number 2, but Philippines, with the passive movement as well coming from Philippines, it's enough for them. They don't have to play really aggressive in the early game, but they play very disciplined going into the mid until the late game.
It really does seem like their main priority is to actually minimize their own mistakes, and with their composition, it's only a matter of time until the late game rolls around. And if they can actually make sure that the goal lead isn't too far off, if it's just even, there's too many evens there. But if it's even for both teams, I think the Philippines have an inherent advantage. So that is the strategy they've gone with in game number 1. But keep in mind, in game number 2, they can completely surprise us as well. This is why it's so dangerous going up against the Philippines.
Maybe not just that, Arashi, because if we talk about Philippines, we know...
Hey, Mirko.
Oh, hi, Mirko.
What's up?
You're not working, Mirko.
He's taking it easy.
He's
Good
just
for
chilling
him.
there. Good for him. But yeah.
Mom, I'm in IESF.
Oh, hi. Hello. And we see a lot of viewers, right, in the IESF in Bali. You guys can enjoy all of the matches for today. Since the day number 1, actually.
Yep, it's a beautiful day in Bali today. So all the members in the audience seem to be having an amazing time. Good for you guys.
But Bali is very hot.
Who?
Bali is very hot, right?
Yes.
It's good for you if you want to go to the beach and try to get the sunburn here if you want to. It could be the option. You want to get it, Arashi?
A tan?
A tan?
No thanks, Momo-chan.
No, why?
Because we have to watch this match.
Oh yeah, that's agree with that. With the best of 3 series, it's gonna be the last chance for Cambodia, but we will see, because I would like to see maybe there's some different approach coming from Philippines. They can go for the 2 marksman strategy if they want, because they always work with the 2 support strategy.
All right, the double marksman strategy from the Philippines certainly has benefit, especially if the Cambodians want to go for the same dive approach. Having 2 members to melt down the front lines can be a solid approach, but of course, it seems to be more of a surprise pick, right? We'll have to see if the composition from the Cambodians will actually be conducive to the Philippines going for that option.
Yeah, but we are still waiting for the draft ban and pick. I would like to see. Maybe there's some surprise pick that coming from the Philippines with the Barrett's pick, or maybe the Guinevere pick as a jungler position for Del Rosario. And we will see in the game number 2 for the draft ban and pick here. There's no Valentina no Natalia, no Wenwen, there's no Akai, and no Benedetta. How about Joy?
Always on the way.
Wow!
Joy is open.
Okay.
But the Philippines have first pick here, so is this part of their strategy? We'll have to see because
It
usually...
could goes into the hand of Imam.
Well, there we go.
There you go, Rashi.
Is it the first time Joy is in the hands of the Philippines?
Yep.
I think it might just be.
yeah.
But keep in mind, the last time Cambodia went up against the Joy, they're able to get heroes like the Kaja, like the Minzitar, so dash denials to just shut down the maneuverability of the Joy. So we'll see if this is part of their calculations, if they fully expect to be able to shut down the Philippines, or maybe they like the idea of the Philippines actually being aggressive so that they can actually get to that back line.
Yeah.
So levels of strategy being displayed here.
Actually, if you against Joy, you have to prepare for the counter, right? We know the Minzitar maybe could be the one of the counter here, but Kaja is available for Cambodia, so it's gonna be the first pick, Kaja, and also Fredrin in the hand of Cambodia as the second pick here. Meanwhile, Leslie still be the prio for Philippines and Eve. So it's gonna be a Joy jungler.
Joy in the jungle, that seems to be the case.
It could be the option for Philippines.
That also means that the Joy will not be able to bring in that Vengeance battle spell that will allow the Joy to actually tank in more damage. So maybe for Cambodia, going for a bit of burst can also be a solution. They can go for the Farsa as well if they want to match the long-range pressure coming in from the Yve. And it's a lot more burst damage. And in fact, there's a lot more burstable heroes on the side of the Philippines as well.
Agree. Now, Cambodia. There's still Beatrix left open for Cambodia. Or maybe they can go for another Melissa. But I think Beatrix is the best option for OP now. They have to pull out the A card now, Archie. They cannot save their strategy. It's their last chance to turn back the table in the game number 2. If they don't do it now, means they have to say goodbye if they lose in this game.
The stakes are definitely higher than usual, to make it sound that simple. But for Cambodia, having that Beatrix will also mean that the lane pressure is going to be very tough in the gold lane. So for the Philippines, they require a different approach here. Because earlier it was Melissa against Leslie. It's pretty much even. So the gangs come in to try and swing the balance in one of those laners' favor. But now, off the bat, the lane pressure will be favoring Cambodia. And they do have a scarier pick-off potential due to that Kaja. They have banned out the Akai, the Matilda, as well as the Lolita. So a lot of saves being banned away from the Philippines, and their response is banning out that Kadita as well.
It's a very smart move coming from Philippines. Very smart move. There's no Kadita, no burst damage. No one can dive in, going into the backline just to make sure no one can touch Imam and also Soriano in the backline here. So there's no Kadita. So far, so good for both of the teams. The draft pick looked very solid, but Cambodia, they ban out this Lolita as a counter for Beatrix.
Right, the Bulwark can definitely block away the bulk of the bullets coming in from the Nibiru's Passion, for example. So for Cambodia, as you mentioned, Momo-chan, an assassin you were asking for, and now instead there is one in the hands of the Philippines, but the Cambodians will ban away that Estes.
Respect ban comes from Cambodia.
Well, it's a respect ban, and also making sure that if they actually get their hands onto Soriano or Imam, that's a lot of damage that cannot be sustained by the Blessing of the Moon Goddess. So the Philippines have an option to go for a different kind of save, but we'll see if that is the answer they go for.
Yeah, we'll see. But Philippines, they can ban out this Yuzong if they want to. Because the Fredrin can go into the hand of Dija as a jungler. But Farsha Ben coming from Philippines. No high ground defensive coming from Cambodia in the second game.
Well, now they have a snipe, but they don't have anything else to follow it up with. And for the Philippines, it's the same kind of combo. It's less dynamic because the burst and damage coming in from Yve is not nearly as dangerous as the feathered airstrike coming in from Farsa. But they can make it work depending on the circumstances. For Cambodia.
Hello, Cambodia fans! Hello! I wish that I can speak in Cambodia language, you know.
Unfortunately, we can't, but here we go. Cambodians go for the Yutong, making sure that the backlines will not have an easy time.
That's a good pick for Cambodia.
Yep.
They need someone to dive in, going into the backline with the Black Dragon form here. But Digi pick for Philippines nullify all of the CC that Cambodia has.
That is both the Divine Judgment from Kaja, as well as the Furious Dive Petrify combo coming in from that Yutong as well, most likely in the hands of Boom. So for the Philippines, they have a good composition. They can go in and out, they can poke from far away, and go for the burst damage as well. The final pick will be the Baxia. So very quick rotations can be expected, but hang on.
Wait, so it's gonna be Baxia...
EXP.
XP?
It has to be, right?
Yes, and Joy Jungler.
Joy Jungle, Rome, Diggy, and Leslie and Yves, gold lane and mid lane. So for Cambodia here, it's a mixed bag. If they want to go up against the Philippines can take it slow. They have so many poke options here, Yves, Leslie, and Diggy. But if they want to engage, they have the Baxia as well. And if they kite away, the Turtle's poisons from the Baxia will mean that Cambodia is forced to actually walk through a lot of damage.
I think Lilia could be the option for Cambodia. And there you go. Lilia pick for Cambodia. Every dive-in hero from Philippines can be melted down by the angry magic show effect coming from Cambodia. And hi, Sleepy and also Mwawa.
Sleepy Studios and Omwawa in the building. Hope you're enjoying the show because now this might be the decider. It's a chance for Cambodia to equalize and make this a 3-game series, or will the Filipinos go for that clean sweep?
The Cambodia draft looked very solid, right? I really like the Lilia and also the Yuzong pick. The last 2 picks coming from Cambodia. It can change everything if they can get it very well in the game number 2.
The only concern here is for Cambodia. With everyone being so short range, they need to be walking through a lot of slows per se. And for the Philippines, having the Yves will be such a big issue. But ladies and gentlemen, let's go straight into the Land of Dawn for game number 2 between Cambodia and the Philippines. Let's check it out.
Let's see. Is it gonna be the Cambodia games or is it gonna be a Philippine with 2-0 clean sweep?
Hang on, this is a Baxia in the jungle for Del Rosario. It's actually the Fat Up with the Vengeance and the Magic Shop in the EXP lane. Already a bit of a plot twist we're seeing right here.
Yeah, interesting. Del Rosario with the Baxia jungler. So it means that Padep, he has a chance to win the lane with Boom in the top lane.
It's an assassin against a fighter, and on paper, it doesn't really make sense. But of course, Joy is very, very strong right now. We'll see if the Yutong can match up against the Joy, especially in the early game. But Del Rosario taking as much early game jungle creeps as possible, ensuring that he does have a bit of a lead. OPJ tries to go for the steal, but Villaluna will actually just block him away. And that is a good chunk of damage to OP as well. This is the babysit meta we've come to expect from this Diggy.
The babysit coming from Villaluna in the bottom lane, it will make at least Soriano will have a chance to get the first blood in the early minutes. But it's gonna be a problem if there's gonna be a rotation coming from Cambodia here. Meanwhile, Soriano trying to pull OP away here. Ooh, with the flicker that comes from OP.
Here comes Del Rosario coming in. OP will be too low. He gets first blooded by Del Rosario. And that is the speed we talked about. That shield unity means that Del Rosario can't be anywhere at any time. And the Cambodians, once again, lose their gold laner. That is not the result they want.
Yeah, the rotation is still there coming from Philippines. Meanwhile, Cambodia have to be careful because the Rosario can come anytime that he wants. And now, Backpadap trying to make Lutu. At least, I really like that there's someone here with the electrifying bits coming from the Padap, trying to giving a poke damage towards Lutu in the top lane.
The Padap drops the beat, but now zoning everyone away from the turtle pit. Deja tries to do something here, but with the black shoes, he's able to escape, and the Philippines will not chase after getting their objective. They're playing it slow. They understand that the late game is what they're aiming for.
Yeah, and now the passive playstyle coming from Cambodia. Meanwhile, Imam trying to pick down the Deja in the mid lane here with a one real-world manipulation coming from Imam.
We talked about going passive, but Imam says, never mind, let's go for the kills yet again. And now with the mid laner gone, you can see the pressure building up from the Philippines. They're pushing all the lanes together. And that means that the members from Cambodia will be shown on the map, and that in turn will allow Del Rosario to actually find opportunities where it won't normally be possible.
And it even forced Cambodia to at least babysit, do the same thing what Villaluna does with Soriano in the bottom lane here.
Ooh, Soriano uses the snipe, but it doesn't really... It wasn't used on the right target, so Opie will be able to survive for now. And Villaluna is taking a lot of aggression as T is looking for an opportunity. The time journey is popped in preemptively, but look in the backside. The pad up goes in. He's suppressed though by T. Pulled under the turret, but he is still going to be surviving with that vengeance as well. Imam with the real wood manipulation tries to duel Deja in the back line. He will be able to win that duel. And on the other side, that's also Soriano picking up a kill. The Filipinos strike again.
It's a solo kill coming from Imam with the real world manipulation because he knows that there's no black shoes in the hand of Deja. And he knows it. And now, Philippines, they are still dominating in the early minutes. Cambodia, they seems very lost, especially in the gold lane.
They made that play very, very aggressively early on, and they just didn't use the right spells in the right kind of order to actually get full benefit. So it seems very disjointed because of the positioning coming in from the Philippines.
Oh, they changed the lane.
And now, as you can see, already the turtle has been spawning, and Cambodians seem like they want to try and contest it, but if they stay too long, they are prone to getting poked down, and Del Rosario will scout because he is very, very tanky in the front line, and the Cambodians have no answer as the poke damage coming in from Imam will pressure them. Boom! Goes for the back line though, but the turtle will be taken by Lutu. But at what cost? Del Rosario goes in, and the time journey is popped as well. Boom will be pulled back with the reverse time, but Dappadap seems like he wants to go for something else. With the real manipulation, that is a lot of damage. So the Filipinos will take one in the top side.
The timing is just perfect for Imam with the real world manipulation on the edge of Boom's feet. And look at that, another kill for Philippines in game number 2. And now, seems that T really need to use that divine judgment perfectly. Maybe going into the top lane could be the answer for Cambodia because the Padap is just by himself in the top lane.
The Padap pops in that vengeance and actually goes just a slight bit back in. He knows he has the mobility to try and make the plays happen. And just like that, 4 members from Cambodia shows on the top side, or at least converges on the top side. And while doing that, the Filipinos have been pushing the other lanes, setting up already for the next objective. And as always, pressuring so much in that mid lane.
With the turret taken down in the bottom lane for Philippines. Now Soriano can make the rotation. And look at that, there's another real manipulation comes in. Lutu trying to so hard to just going back at Del Rosario with the tortoise poison. Of course, he doesn't want to let Lutu away. And ooh, with one shot coming from OP, make sure that the Padap need to recall it away.
A trade,
recall, going back into base.
That's a trade of plays in the mid and top side. And the Filipinos definitely come out on top here, taking the mid turret as well. This means that the rotations are just going to get faster and faster for the Philippines. And for Cambodia, they need to be very careful because now their jungle is vulnerable to being invaded. And as we say that, Villaluna with the Enchanted Talisman will be able to use a lot more of those bombs to try and set up traps for the members of Cambodia as they actually are converging, hoping to get a pick off with the Conceal, heading for the pad up here. He does not see the ambush coming in. They're shown at finally as well, but look at that. T will be the first in the front, trying to go with the Divine Judgment. He is suppressed, and the Petrify will ensure that he is not taken out actually. The shielding is just so strong right now. He's buying so much time. Opie almost getting taken out, and the pad up flexes his muscles, but he won't be able to get that kill. The Cambodians take him out, but on the other side, they spend so much time trying to get that kill.
He almost got one actually, Arashi, but OP is still able to survive. What? Actually, it's a long time that has been bought by the Padap in the bottom lane with 1 versus 4. And the Padap still able to hold for maybe a couple seconds there.
I think it's way more than a couple of seconds, Momo-chan, but already Soriano feeling the pressure, knowing the danger from Cambodia. They spent so much time and they lost a turtle and a turret in the top side as an exchange. So you can say it might be worth it, but Villaluna actually gets picked up, but whoa, that's a flicker being used by T. I think it's not as planned, and Imam tries to trade back that damage, and now the ultimate from T is no longer available for the side of the Cambodians. The Filipinos might look for something knowing that that is the case.
with a 5K gold lead for Philippines now. Cambodia, the art seems lost. They need to find a way how to deal with the damage that's coming from Philippines, the massive damage. OP.
Ooh, that's a real manipulation being used by Imam, and the Filipinos will take out T, but at what cost? The bad up just zoning everyone in the back line though. Boom is going solo in the back line. He is way too low. He gets pulled back by the reverse time, and Soriano will take him out as both teams, they dove towards each other, and compared to the Yu Song, you see that the pad up on the Joy actually is able to more decisively zone away the members from Cambodia.
Every time Cambodia wants to counter Philippines back, they still cannot win the counter here. Meanwhile, another Baxia Shield unity comes from Rosario, and the Divine Judgment comes from T. It's too late for T. Meanwhile, Del Rosario is very, very tanky as the front laner from Philippines. Meanwhile, Soriano just plays as aggressive as he wants. He wants to take all the objective in the mid lane, and now there are 5 turrets in the hand of Philippines.
They were able to take out one more turret in the mid side, and it's just pure calculation coming in from the Philippines. They don't have to do anything special. All they have to do is push the waves, make sure that the Cambodians are forced to respawn, and either counter-engage, disengage using the time journey, or just poke down the main front lines until they're low enough. And once they see opportunities, Del Rosario just rolls in like he owns the place. And the follow-up from Imam and Soriano is just way too dangerous.
And
now with the Lord coming in though, we'll see if the Filipinos, they go for a big fight, a big dive, or are they going to be content just picking up one or two more turrets?
The Divine Judgment from T really need to be executed perfectly. But the problem is, who will get the Divine Judgment from T here? Meanwhile, it's gonna be a slow effect that's coming, and also another real world manipulation pops up from Imam, and there's gonna be a Lord being taken down.
Oh, look at T though, he gets pulled back, and Soriano will be able to take him out, and that will be it. Wow, he was trying to make a play happen so hard, but he just gets taken out, unfortunately. And now, without their main engage tool, the Filipinos are looking for something. Imam gets chunked down, and Del Rosario goes in, but that is still a lot of damage traded back by OP on this Beatrix. And Dapidap just zoning everyone away with that sustain from the concentrated energy. It's very difficult to deal with, and the Filipinos will be able to get one more base turret.
And now Philippines, they want to play very objective. They don't want to make a mistake. They don't want to let Cambodia to turning back the tailball right now in the game number 2. Meanwhile, T, even though he already tried to use that flicker and also the Divine Judgment, he still failed. So it's very tough for Cambodia. Meanwhile, Philippines, they just need to wait for the second Lord pops in the minute number 12 maybe.
Look at the discipline coming in from the Philippines. The only kill that the Cambodians have on the table is when they send 4 members and use so much time to ensure that the pad up gets taken out. Without doing that, there's 0 kills on the board for Cambodia. And that means that the gold lead is so one-sided. But at the same time, if they're able to get a pick-off and get a kill, a shutdown onto OP, for example, that could be the winning solution they need.
They have to contest the Lord, I think, Cambodia. They cannot make, they cannot let Philippines actually get the Lord very free. But now, Dapada trying to open all of the
Del Rosario though, in the backside of the Philippines, for instance, doing a lot of damage here. He is suppressed and pulled to Divine Judgment, but Boom, on the other hand, gets taken out so low. The Petrify is used as well. It's a trade between Lutu and Del Rosario. Both jungles not there, but the Filipinos are able to take the middle base turret, and they are not done just yet. They will be kiting away, and with all the spells being thrown backwards, the Cambodians cannot contest, but Villa Luna, that is the damage the snipe has in store for them.
But Imam is trying to giving a poke damage with the alarm bomb and also the ultimate snipe from Soriano. Now giving a poke towards the Boom here. Meanwhile, they want to get another best turret. 9 turrets in the hand of Philippines, and now the next Lords could be the objective for Philippines to just secure their game number 2.
They have full control here, and T actually purchased the fleeting time, so he's trying to go for a lot more pickoffs, a lot more Divine Judgments, but do they have enough damage to try and make that happen? Right now, with the pressure, with the vision in favor of the Philippines, they will be able to actually take this Lord without any contest at all.
Yeah, I think it's quite dangerous. If Cambodia, they want to try to contest the Lord now, Philippines, they just need to wait. The Lord is going into the mid lane, trying to crush everyone into the base of Cambodia. And now Philippines, they have to play disciplinedly. If they want to secure, if they want to end this game as soon as possible, they have to make sure that Filipina and also maybe, especially Soriano, cannot be caught by the member of Cambodia.
The main threat for the Philippines right now must be Boom on that Yuzong, diving in the back line, but now he is zoned away by that Rosario alone, and look at the poke damage coming in from Imam. The real manipulation is being used, but it's cancelled by the Black Dragon form, but the bad up tries to actually punish that play. Divine Judgment is being used, and Soriano survives with a sliver of HP, you can't even see it, and the Filipinos, they're still in the fight though, as Boom tries his best. Divine the first dive with the Petrify as well won't be enough, as the Filipinos are slowly but surely chugging down, and that will be the Filipinos marching like a boss into the grand finals. They have taken out Cambodia.
2-0 for Philippines against Cambodia in the lower bracket match. Clean sweep coming from Philippines. Meanwhile, Cambodia, they have to say goodbye today because there's no chance at all for Cambodia to turn back the table in the game number 2.
The Filipinos are just so calculative, and this is their playstyle, and so far it's been working wonderfully, Momo-chan. Every time they just make sure that the backline is safe and they're able to just outpoke their opponents before eventually going in when the time is right. No team so far, I think, has been able to counter this that effectively.
Maybe so far, but maybe we will see it tomorrow when they're against Indonesia, who are still waiting, already waiting actually in the grand finals of IESF Mobile Legends Bang Bang.
That is the match to keep your eye on. That is happening tomorrow, so stay tuned for sure. But unfortunately for the Cambodian team, they are forced to accept defeat. And I think I see a couple of Cambodian supporters having very sad faces. Unfortunately, that is the thrill and the agony of a competitive scene. Today, the Filipinos are the ones on top. But of course, you can't count out the Cambodians. It was a very good try from the Cambodian team.
Very nice try coming from Cambodia, but unfortunately they cannot complete it in the lower bracket match, and the Philippines, they've done it. And now it's gonna be a revenge match tomorrow from Philippines and also Indonesia. And here's it, our champion for the lower bracket final, it's Philippines! There you go, with a perfect performance coming from Philippines. They melt down 2-0. The Cambodia players, they are not able to turn back the table in the game number 2.
Only 1 kill on the board for the Cambodians. So the Filipinos are definitely happy with this performance, and they will look to replicate it against Indonesia tomorrow, and that will be the final match that we are all looking forward to. But right now, they're basking in their glory. They definitely deserve it.
It's a total domination coming from Philippines in the game number 2. Game number 1 looked very, very solid for Philippines, but the game number 2, they are just pulled Cambodia way to behind.
With the goal deficit, with the pressure and the vision game favoring the Philippines towards that mid-game, it was just a bit too difficult for the Cambodians to even find a winning fight. Even a single pickoff wasn't available, wasn't given to them by the Filipinos.
Because they are just too snowballing since in the early game, right? The Philippines, they make a chance. They just put their hope inside the game. Since in the early game here, they make Del Rosario can do the rotation here. The Filipina babysit as well for the Soriano in the gold lane. It just worked perfectly for Philippines. Meanwhile, Cambodia with the passive movement coming from Cambodia, it makes the Philippines can just driven away all the people from Cambodia in the second game just now. So they don't have any chance, they don't have any answer how to turn back the table towards Philippines in the game number 2.
And keep in mind, having the Joy as a flex pick, it's actually being used in the hands of the Padap, and he is able to actually zone away the backline every single time there was a big fight. So we thought it was going to the jungle, but against the Filipinos, you have no idea.
It's quite risky to just letting go this Joy, as we know as a new hero, right? In MLBB, we know how strong Joy, even though it's not in the jungle position, at least if you put Joy in the mid lane, it's very strong, right? It's so you know, he has the burst damage with the electrifying bits here, with the rhythm of Joy. and the slow effect as long with the crystal, the skill number 1 that he has, it makes Joy very, very unstoppable. But the problem is, Cambodia, they took a risk. They just let Joy as the first pick in the hand of Philippines.
They thought they can actually counter it, but even with the Kaja, it just wasn't good enough. And with 4 people, I think the main idea is for the Joy to be in a lane, and that way you can go for the Venue's battle spell. And you saw that against 4 members, how long it took for the Padap to actually finally get taken out. It's a good solid 2 minutes, I think.
1 versus 4 in the bottom lane?
1 versus 4, almost taking out OP in the process.
Almost.
That is what this hero can bring to the table. And for sure, we're going to see a lot of it either being played or being banned in tomorrow's match.
Agree with that, but let's take a look to the highlight for game number 2. The babysit that comes from Villa Luna in the bottom lane, it makes Soriano can get the turrets. The first turrets in the bottom lane could be a prio strategy for Philippines here. Once they get the turrets in the bottom lane, Soriano can just do all the rotation, going into the mid lane, going into the top lane. Even we know that Boom tried so hard to change lane with OP, but it doesn't work. It didn't work for Cambodia. 1 versus 4 for the Padap in the bottom lane. It just can shoot everyone's away, and he almost got OP with the flicker. OP almost got shut down.
And even if they don't go for big fights, it's only a matter of time. Everyone gets poked in slowly but surely, and when you think you can make it out, the reverse time is being used in the right opportune moment as well. And not to mention, if you're T on the Kaja, who do you go for? Because everyone is so mobile, everyone is so protected, and with the time journey available in the hands of the Philippines as well, it's almost like they have all the right answers to any play that the Cambodians can throw at them.
It was just too late for Cambodia because they have to do that since in the early beginning, right? Since in the beginning, because they have the early damage coming from T, but Boom and also Lutus still need some time to get their item here. But it was a nice try coming from Cambodia with 0 and 2. And Philippines, they've done their homework in the lower bracket match and they goes into the grand final with Indonesia tomorrow.
Well, soon we'll take a look at who is the MVP here. And actually before that, items first, right? Because itemization is definitely key, especially in the mid to late game. Now, Momo-chan, what exactly can you see? Because for both mid laners, I feel like there's a lot of damage already built up.
I like the pick that coming from Cambodia. The last 2 picks from Cambodia it's strong. With this Yuzong pick, can go dive into the back line with the constant strike that actually he has, and also with the Radiant armor. But it's still not enough for Cambodia because they are just too late. With the Lilia pick, it has an early damage here with the burst damage coming from the Angry Gloom. But the problem is there's no aggressive rotation from Cambodia. So Philippines, they just did it. They just make the rotation. Actually, Soriano with the babies coming from Phil Luna with the damage deal 70k as a Digi. It was insane.
If you look at the Digi's items, it's Enchanted Talisman and the Divine Glaive. It's what we've come to expect from this aggressive Digi. Villa Luna was on that Impure Rage as well. So that's a lot of damage, a lot of mana to just use it, to just keep poking in that early game. So the utility game is definitely there. But the match MVP will be Soriano from the Philippines on that Leslie. 6-0-6 and actually almost taken out in that final fight, barely surviving with an invisible amount of HP.
Yeah, no that at all for Soriano. And we realized now this Leslie could be the prio pick for Soriano in the gold lane, right? So there's no Beatrix, there's no Irrital, there's no Melissa at all. Only Leslie in the hand of Soriano. And it could be a banning coming from Indonesia tomorrow, just to respect this Leslie pick coming from Philippines.
It is possible. I mean, the Philippines, they really enjoy bursting down the priority members from their opponents, and Leslie for sure allows that to happen. Unlike other marksmen, the Leslie has a lot more burst damage, and I think Soriano is abusing it to its utmost potential. So teams going up against the Philippines for sure need to think about this. Do they have vulnerable members in the back line? Because if they do, Soriano is on the hunt. But of course, we have to thank again our sponsors for this event. It's going to be JHL Group, JHL Auto, Nusapay, DAS, Gudang Crypto, Taiwan Excellence, Pertamina, Hydro Coco, Plosa, Sofel, Antis, Telkomsel, the Samsung Galaxy A series, the amazing phone, Central Cargo, and Huawei Cloud.
Yes, thank you for all of the sponsor as well. But if you guys are actually looking for a solution for your good delivery service, Central Cargo could be the option for you guys. It presents as a solution for all the goods delivery service that you guys want, serving the delivery of goods both by air, land, and also sea. Door-to-door service is available as well from Central Cargo. You just need to download the application on your phone. It's available on the App Store and also the Play Store. So make sure you guys download Central Cargo now on your device.
So all three?
All three.
That's air, land, and sea.
Anything you want, sir.
So they got all your bases covered, guys.
For
if you need things being sent.
Yeah, for the door-to-door service, they also have it.
Central Cargo.
Amazing. Wow, but now 2-0 clean sweep that comes from Philippines, it will makes them can secure the slot into the grand final to meet Indonesia tomorrow.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been me, Arashi, and Momo-chan, Moshi. But now, unfortunately, it's time for us to part, and we'll send you guys back to our wonderful hosts.
Take it away.
Well, this lower bracket final finally comes to an end with 2-0. Congratulations once again for Philippines! Lakat Madadang!
Normalin. Exactly, they secured their places in the grand final tomorrow against Indonesia.
Wow, they go back again. Indonesia and Philippines.
Exactly, such a rivalry up there and so intense. So tomorrow, please join us, but stay a bit, guys. Stay a bit. Because after this, we still have the grand final of eFootball 2023.
That's right. Don't miss it because for the last match, we have final of Tekken 7. And not forget to, I want to say good game well played for Cambodia.
Exactly.
The fans are there. Cambodia team also there.
Exactly.
They fought really well. And yeah, Philippines, they are so strong.
Indeed.
They dominate the game. But tomorrow at 9.
Wow.
We will find out who will be the winner of Best of 5 series for MLBB.
Exactly. So stay with us and we're going to have a short break first and then we will come back for the grand final of eFootball 2023. Still with us, Darius Drew.
And Clara Mongstar. Stay
See you
tuned
soon.
and we'll be back soon.